The 1999 NFL Draft was single-handedly one of the most entertaining and dramatic events in sports history. It had everything: a believed to be once-in-a-generation talent, perhaps the biggest bust in NFL history, arguably the worst trade the sport has ever seen, and fans booing their own draft pick. Before I take you through perhaps the most eventful first 5 draft picks in professional sports, there was this tantalizing running back from the University of Texas that dominated the entire league. He set the career and single-season rushing yards record for the Longhorns in his 4 seasons. In 1998, he won the Heisman Trophy after running for 2,124 yards and 27 touchdowns. Now, you have to remember how different the late 90s were compared to now, especially at the running back position. From 1990 to 1999, there was at least one running back taken within the first 10 picks of the draft. Now, we haven't seen a running back taken within the first 10 picks since 2018 with Saquon Barkley. In the 90s, running the football was crucial to team success, and Ricky Williams was thought to be the next great workhorse running back. At the NFL owners meetings a month prior to the draft, then Saints head coach Mike Ditka let everyone know that he would be trading all of his 1999 draft picks if he could select Williams. With plenty of anticipation and excitement, the draft was set to be kicked off with the expansion Cleveland Browns being awarded the first pick. The Browns, having been out of the league for 3 years, were looking to build their roster from the ground up. Williams wasn't on their radar with the first overall pick, as they were looking at the quarterback position. Now, most of us know how things pan out if you're a quarterback in Cleveland.
The Cleveland Browns selection is from the University of Kentucky, quarterback Tim Couch.
At the time, Couch had set SEC records for attempts, completion percentage, passing yards, and touchdowns. These gaudy numbers were a result of playing in the early iteration of the Mike Leach air raid offense. Couch, though, was the first of many Mike Leach coached college quarterbacks that never really panned out in the NFL. The list includes Josh Heupel, now head coach at Tennessee, Cliff Kingsbury, now the head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, B.J. Simons, who under Leach still ranks second all-time in college football single-season passing yards with 5,833. The rest include Sonny Cumbie, Cody Hodges, Graham Harrell, Taylor Potts, Jeff Toole, Connor Halliday, Luke Falk, Gardner Minshew, and Anthony Gordon. As short as Couch's career was, just 5 seasons in the NFL, he did lead the Browns to one of their 2 playoff appearances this century. The second overall pick belonged to the Philadelphia Eagles, who were coming off a horrendous season, going 3-13 and having their ragtag group of quarterbacks throw just 7 touchdowns in 16 games. But that didn't stop Philadelphia Mayor Ed Rendell and local sports radio hosts from clamoring for the Eagles to take Ricky Williams with the pick. Eagles fans showed up in droves to the draft at Madison Square Garden, the majority of which were rooting for the Texas running back to be selected. The Eagles brass, led by new head coach Andy Reid, didn't give Eagles fans what they wanted.
The Philadelphia Eagles select Donovan McNabb, quarterback, Syracuse University.
The stadium filled with boos, even as McNabb entered the stage. Eagles president Joe Banner said that not only were the Eagles never going to select Williams over McNabb, but Ricky Williams wasn't even the top running back on their draft board. This decision, though, almost surely changed the course of Eagles franchise history, as the next season, they went on a run of 4 straight years to the NFC Championship game, including a Super Bowl appearance. With Eagles fans in disarray, the Cincinnati Bengals were due up with the 3rd overall pick. Guess who was calling? Mike Ditka and the Saints. Seeing this as their chance to move up from the 12th overall pick and get their star running back, the initial offer from Ditka and the Saints was everything Ditka said to the media and more. The Saints offered their entire 1999 draft class, plus their 3rd and 1st round pick in the year 2000. The Bengals, though, didn't see this as enough and countered with an egregious request, asking for all the Saints' 1999 picks, plus an additional 3 first-round picks for the next 3 drafts. The Bengals ultimately held on to their pick, taking quarterback Achilles Smith. If you've never heard of him, I can't blame you. He managed to play just 17 games in his career, completing only 46% of his passes and throwing for just 100 yards a game. Since the year 1999, he has to be one of the biggest busts in NFL history at the quarterback position, among the likes of Jamarcus Russell, Joey Harrington, Josh Rosen, and Sam Darnold. With 3 quarterbacks taken in the first 3 picks, the Indianapolis Colts were on the clock. who just 48 hours earlier traded future Hall of Fame running back Marshall Faulk to the Rams. GM Bill Polian didn't want to do it, but Faulk's contract was becoming a problem for the organization. So they shipped him out for pennies on the dollar, just a 2nd and 5th rounder. The only consolation for Colts fans, though, was that this deal meant they were able to land Ricky Williams in the draft, but not so fast. There was another running back, a future Hall of Fame running back on Polian's mind. Miami's Edgerrin James didn't have the Heisman Trophy like Williams, but the Hurricanes built running backs in a lab. James ran a 4.38 40 time, which was quite the separation from Ricky Williams' 4.56. Williams, though, was waiting at the end of the stage, expecting to be called. When it wasn't him, you could see a stud Williams on the broadcast mouthing the word "wow" and dropping his head. 4 picks, and Ricky's name still wasn't called. With Washington on the clock, the wait was over, but not how you might think. Ditka was on the phone again. After trying to jump the Colts earlier, he was shocked to see the Longhorns still on the board. This time, though, the Redskins were happy to take his offer. The Saints were able to move up 7 spots, giving up all 6 of their picks in the '99 draft, as well as a 1st and 3rd the next year. To put this in perspective, the Rams made a similar trade to acquire Jared Goff in 2016. But instead of trading up from 12 to 5, the Rams traded up from 15 all the way to the 1st overall pick. The Rams at the time gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds. This netted them the 1st overall pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick. Sure, they gave up a couple more early round picks, but overall spent less draft capital to move up more picks.
With the 5th pick in the draft, the New Orleans Saints select Ricky Williams, running back, University of Texas.
Shortly after making the pick, Ditka said, "We're going to win the Super Bowl. We got Ricky, and he's the final piece to the puzzle." I really believe that. Instead, Williams' rookie season turned out to be the final chapter of Ditka's coaching career. Williams rushed for just 884 yards and 2 touchdowns in 1999. 1 week after the Saints finished the season 3-13, Ditka was fired, and he didn't coach again. What makes this entire night and trade come full circle is the fact that Williams was traded just 3 years later for 3 draft picks. He even went on to discover some of that potential that Ditka had praised him for. In his first season in Miami, he ran for over 1,800 yards. What kept the what-if and mystique factor for Williams alive was the outrageous and strict rules against marijuana use in the NFL at the time. With a few failed drug tests, Williams was suspended on numerous occasions, even for entire seasons. At one point, he was even playing football in the CFL for the Toronto Argonauts. He and the 1999 NFL Draft will go down as one of the most entertaining in league history.